Welcome everyone to the League of Women Voters of Kittitas County March program. My name is Susan Kelleher, and I am Program Director for our local league. The league is a nonprofit, nonpartisan organization dedicated to educating voters and defending democracy. This event is brought to you by the league as part of our monthly public program series. We are especially pleased to present our monthly program here in Cle Elum at the Pettit Centennial Center, and we want to thank the director and staff for accommodating our group. For this month's program, we are exploring the topic of growth in the Pettit County and how medical and emergency services are meeting the resulting challenges. We have a great panel assembled here to discuss and help us all understand the issues confronting our county. Following the presentation, there will be time for questions and answers. This program will be recorded and uploaded to our league's YouTube channel for viewing at a later date. Now I'd like to introduce our panel. First we have John Sinclair, the Fire Chief of the Kittitas Valley Fire and Rescue and Emergency Manager for the City of Ellensburg. Next is Jerry Pettit, who served for 17 years as Kittitas County Auditor and has also been a volunteer with Emergency Management Services for many, many years. Next we have Geoff Scherer, Operations Manager for Upper Kittitas County Medic 1. Next is Cle Elum. He is the paramedic for Upper Kittitas County Medic 1. And we have Rhonda Holden, Chief Ancillary Officer for Kittitas Valley Healthcare. And we're going to begin with Geoff and Cole.
I'd like to thank everybody for having us here today. I'm Geoff Scherer, I'm the Operations Manager of Upper Kittitas County Medic 1. This is your Kittitas County Medic 1 staff. We're going to do a little PowerPoint just explaining what we do for the citizens of Upper Kittitas County. Next one. We are the only ALS paramedic provider in Upper Kittitas County. We've been doing this since 1996. We've run EMS levies to help support that for the last 26 years. We've had an EMS levy to support that. We ran a levy last fall that failed, and so we're looking forward to trying to figure out how to maybe run another one. Currently, our levy rate is about 14 to 15 cents. We need that levy rate to help supplement our operations in Upper Kittitas County. We staff an ambulance 24/7, 2 ambulances, one with each with a paramedic, an EMT. We staff one out at Fire District 7, Station 73, and another one here at Station 99. Full-time staff of 12 EMTs and paramedics, and about 10 staff. The board is, we have a 5-commissioner board that's elected. Some of them are here today, but I don't want to get into some sort of public disclosure thing with more than 3 or 4 commissioners here, so just be assured that they're here. We have a part-time administrator and a part-time operations manager. That's me. This is the area that we serve. You can see it goes from the top of Snoqualmie Pass all the way down here to Elk Heights. We go out into the channelway with a mutual aid agreement because we're a little bit closer. This has sort of been a fall run in the last few years. We've got a correction with COVID, but you can see that we're getting busier and busier and busier. I believe we put on a second car in 2000, meaning the second ALS car in 2016 because one car during the day, 2 cars during the day, and 1 at night was not meeting the demand that we had, so we had to staff up and put on a second 24-hour car. And you can see that population growth or call volume or whatever it is, it continues to rise. So we're going to have to try to figure out how we can get in front of that. That's why we're here today to talk about that.
So as Jeff kind of stated before, we do run 2 ambulances 24/7, 8 a.m. to 8 a.m. shifts. We work 4896s, which are 2 days on, 4 days off, with at least 1 paramedic, sometimes 2, depending on the staffing for the day. We do rely heavily on BLS partners, which we're going to talk about further in this, but we have a lot of BLS partners that we work with. 8 separate fire departments that are currently running calls with us in Upper Kittitas County. Those fire departments are primarily volunteer, but we do have a couple mixed paid volunteer departments.
Could you hold it a little closer to your mouth? Thank
A little
you.
closer?
Thank you.
There you
Yep.
go. So some of the strengths of our current system right now, we keep paramedics available for EMS calls. So we are a standalone EMS service. We don't have firefighter paramedics currently. That's not the way that our system operates. So we are available strictly for EMS calls only. Kind of gives us a focused delivery. That is our primary goal. That is essentially our only goal, is to provide ALS for our paramedic level service. And Jeff will talk a little bit about some of our community paramedicine. We also use iStats, and we have some advanced ventilators, some advanced equipment that we do carry on our ambulances. But on the next slide, Jeff will talk a little bit about some of the other services that our agency provides.
So I'd like to point out that Upper County Medical Line Hospital District 2 is more than just ambulance service. For instance, we've teamed together with Fire District 6 and brought in almost $300,000 worth of grants to help with community outreach. What that means, what we call community paramedicine or community outreach, there's people that are high utilizers of the system, meaning they're calling 911 all the time or going to the emergency room, and maybe they just need a little more help at home or doing something. And so we're putting them in what we call the A-team and trying to get them services. And the grant is help fund a full-time position at Fire District 6 and help supplement my part-time position at Medical One. We're always doing the right thing for the patient. Not always do you need to go to the hospital. Sometimes we'll go out to a call and it's simply just trying to arrange a doctor's appointment. We do that too. So we don't just go to your house and transport you to the emergency room. Sometimes it's just simple things like that, or you can't get to your doctor's appointment, and we'll try to figure out if we can bring in extra crews to arrange a time to go see the primary care physician at the KVH clinic. There's always looking for different alternatives for transport. Some of the challenges that we have are what we'll call concurrent calls. And I'll have Cole speak to that in a little bit. A lot of our transports, if we are transporting, sometimes you need to go to a higher level of care, maybe Harborview, if we're picking you up off the interstate. That is a long transport. We're out of service for a long time, so you're not going to see that ambulance for upwards of maybe even 5 hours. So that's some of the challenges that we have. We've got a really big response area. I mean, if we get a 911 call at Snoqualmie Pass right now, it's going to take us 30 minutes to get there. So that's a long time to wait. So we have to rely on our BLS partners up there like Snoqualmie Pass, Fire and Rescue, to help with that. The increasing population, everybody, that's why we're talking about this today. It's just going to be a challenge on how to deal with that. And an aging population. There's also the increasing cost of ALS services. An fully stocked ambulance costs about $300,000. Turnkey, fully stocked ambulance. If we're putting 50,000 miles on those a year, you don't want to old busted up ambulance. 4 years, you have 200,000 miles on it. It's expensive to run it. We always rely on the surface. Trying to always rely on our BLS partners, and those capacities are in flux sometimes because a lot of them are volunteer fire departments and they've got jobs. And so that's, if you're going to 9 to 5 call and you got a job out there, sometimes we're like, those partners aren't showing up. So we always try to, work with building relationships with other departments. The number of resources for a high acuity call that stresses all the departments. If we're on a CPR call, we're going to need a medic, several EMTs, probably somebody in there, depending on where it's at, to direct traffic, logistics on that. I mean, you can have upwards of 10 people on a high acuity call, let alone if it's a multi-victim call like the NCI on the side of the road. And which brings us to I-90 construction. That is also another, that will cause us to have a long response time because it's backed up. We're going to be seeing that down at Vantage Bridge probably next year. We're going to have backed up traffic coming this way. It's going to take us longer to get to you. It's going to take us longer to get you to the place you need to go.
So Geoff kind of just talked about concurrent calls. What we mean by that is we have 2 ALS ambulances available 24/7. A concurrent call would be 2 calls going out at the same time, essentially, or another call comes out before that first ambulance clears their call. Throughout 2021, 55% of all EMS calls came out concurrently. So that left 0 ALS ambulances available for a period of time while both of those ambulances were tied up on either the same call as a multi-victim incident or multiple calls at the same time. We continue to monitor that number month to month. It's gone as high as 70% maybe during the busy summer months, where there's a 70% chance that both ambulances will be running separate calls at the same time. This next slide here, I just took some calls from 2021 at the start. At the far right there, you can see out of service time. And that is the time from a 911 call dropping for an ambulance to them calling themselves back in service at their group quarters. It ranges from as high as 262 minutes down to 50 minutes. So because of our large geographical response area, because of the fact that we don't have a hospital that's 5 minutes away that we can quickly pick up a patient and drop off at, we have very high out of service times for each of our incidents. Some of these patients did require transport to, like Geoff talked about before, maybe Harbor View if it was a significant trauma call. Or we also respond to search and rescue incidents as well, where we end up on a snowmobile 10 miles out into the woods, and those calls can last 6, 7, 8 hours or more. By the time you drop them off at the hospital, get back to the station, restock, and you're ready for your